a special meeting by Town Council. Can I extend a welcome to all members of the public tonight? Nice to see you here, Tracy, Lisa, Alex. Lovely to see you. I've explained to all members of the public, unfortunately, would have been a special council. So we have the owl on tonight, which records our meetings. I think it was on the last time we came over, so we know all about that. I'll start with a few introductions for you, if that's okay. I'm Warren, I'm the town mayor and councillor for Lindsay doing
Your views on the town hall.
Margaret Richardson, currently councillor for Putney and town councillor for the Brookfield.
John Watts, town councillor for Isabella.
You're quite away there. Can you hear us at the back? All right. Right, we'll go straight into the meeting. We also have Dave. Can you introduce yourself?
Hello everyone, I'm Dave from Shred North. I work for a skateboarding consultancy, and we're working with the council to get the new park in. So that's my remit and that's my entry.
Thank you. And I know you met Dave at the last meeting that we had as well. Okay. Any apologies for absence?
Kath Nisbet. Claire Humphrey.
Councillor Robson.
Okay. Can I remind people about disclosure of interest and grant of dispensations?
Got no, Mr. Mayor.
Nothing. Okay. The minutes of the special full council held on Tuesday, the 13th of February. Can we note those minutes as a true record? Noted. Thank you. And there were no outstanding actions from that meeting. Minutes resolved by the following standing committees. The Community Development Committee on the 13th of Feb, parts 1 and 2. I haven't been informed of any issues. Nobody's raised anything with me. You, Joe?
No, not me, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Right, we'll move on to item 6, which is the decision report on skate park location. Just by way of introduction to this, I met with a number of the residents, including Tracy and Lisa. I think it was February the 9th, prior to our previous special meeting. And we had Jenny Daniels, the sergeant, here as well. And Dave was here from Shred North with Malcolm and Joe. And we listened to a number of concerns that residents had, primarily about the location of the proposed skate park and the potential issues that may arise because of that. Members have been informed after that meeting and were updated at the special council meeting that we had about those concerns. We felt we needed to have another meeting where we could come back, and we're going to make a decision tonight whether or not we'll go ahead with the skate park in that location or we look at another location. Now we have got the decision report there that Joe drew up. Would you like to summarise that, Joe?
Yes, Chair. It really goes back to the meeting we had with the residents that you reported to the last council meeting. Try to get across the feelings of the residents and really have a period of reflection on those feelings and our proposal for for a skate park opposite Ingo Close. So we've looked at it again, and there's obviously a decision has to be made on whether the skate park goes ahead opposite Ingo Close, but we also came up with another site, which is the existing skate park site. So that is that's another option for you to consider. It may cause a bit of delay, but we think that we can go ahead with that, and we think that that is something for you to consider really tonight. So as far as I'm concerned, I think that's the summary of it all, Mr. Mayor, and now it's for the members to debate and make a decision what they want to do, really.
Okay. Do we want to bring up the map of the existing skate park site and the proposed one, then go close? Just so everybody's clear on that. Put the lights off?
Yeah.
Sure. So that's the proposal. Yeah. So that's the proposed one. Alongside the Isabella Community Centre, further along from it. Do you want to mention anything about the distances, Malcolm, or?
I mean, we've got on the diagram there, the distances, but the very edge of the skate park to Fowler Park is 15 metres to the back boundary fence. The Heppel Court, it's 25 metres, and to the houses on Ingo, it's about 30 metres. And it's going to be right next to the existing Olga Potts play area.
So that was the proposed site, if you like. Yes, Daniel?
Yes, the benefit of putting this zoom in on the picture, Chair, there's a magnifier in the bottom right corner, so you can zoom in.
Say again?
The magnifying.
There's a magnifier.
Magnifier, do you want to zoom in on it?
Yeah, just.
I think everybody knows.
Left,
Left.
Malcolm.
Yeah.
Left.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, is that better? Okay. I think everybody's well aware of that proposed location. So can we see the alternative location now?
Give me the same Malcolm. Wouldn't mind, thanks.
Long one.
Next one,
Let's
right.
go along.
The next one. That's it. So the alternative location that we're looking at is to the left of the changing room where Blind Rangers currently play. And you can see you've got an 18-metre length to the start of the Isabella Heath wooded area. 57 metres over to
No.
no,
West Court.
West Court.
And West Court's further up.
61 to West Court, 57 across to this area
Yeah.
here.
On
Fowler Park. And that is basically on the site of the existing, if you want to call it a skate park, skate ramp,
Mhm.
more like. Okay. Right. All right, done, yeah. So we've got two areas that we're looking at there. We were given another option at the time of potentially looking at the sports centre site, but that was ruled out and because of a number of issues, really. So really, we're down to these two areas tonight. As Joe mentioned, there may be an issue. Part of the funding for this is through what's called Section 106 funding, which comes from the county council, when housing developments are being constructed. The county and sometimes the parish council get a sum in lieu. It's mitigation against all these developments to increase the amount of recreational availability, if you like, or help with the infrastructure or schooling and things like that. So we have got some of that in our budget. Now, there may be a delay on this. We may have to go, if we look at the alternative site, we may have to go and negotiate with NCC again to see if we can get that promise extended, if you like.
I think, Mr. Mayor, if I can come in there, it all depends on whether the contractor misses the window of opportunity, you know, to start work, because he's obviously got other work in the pipeline, and if he decides to move, you know, if he decides that he can't start when he wants to start, it might mean that we cannot complete the timescales in relation to section 106. That's the problem. So it may or may not be the case.
I think the other thing to mention is if we decide to go back to the Isabella Field site, there would have to be some further consultation undertaken with the residents who are closer to that site as well. So with that, we'll just open it to the members for discussion. We have one of the local councillors members here tonight. The other one, unfortunately, isn't. But I don't know whether you want to come in first, Aileen, and just say what your views are, or any concerns that you have. Or
I think initially the skate park is a great idea for our young people and children in this area, especially as a lot of families can't go down to the beach all the time or the park all the time. It's nice to have something up at our end for our families and young people. I understand some of the concerns of it on Ogle Drive, but one of my concerns for the Isabella isn't the area itself. It would be great if it was there, but would we get planning permission? How long would it take? And what would the impact on the environment be for the wildlife there? And that would be the only things of my concern would be the planning permission.
okay, welcome.
Yeah. On both grassed areas, if you like, we don't actually need planning permission because the county council have given us permission to put whatever leisure activity we want on there. So we've got the approval internally from the county council to have it on opposite Ingo or by Blythe Rangers Pavilion. The planning permission would be for the floodlighting to light up the scheme. And on the ecological side, we've already been told there's problems because it's near so many meters within a wooded area, so many meters within a pond, because of the bats and other animals out there. The planning have got to have they've got to have a study of the area, and then when they get the independent study, then they'll decide if we can have permission to light the area, which is required for better use of the park, help with antisocial behaviour, etc. I mean, Dave might want to add a bit more.
Yeah, so basically to echo what you were saying, the supplier, the skate park builder, has indicated a window of the possible start date of mid to late June, which means that it would, on the current timescale, it can be delivered for August, which is right in the middle of the summer holidays, which means we'll have maximum use of the park. So yeah, timing is crucial. But in terms of location as well, the initial premise was to put it in a location where we would have maximum visibility on the park. Just one, for safety, and two, just to encourage other people to see it being used in a positive way so that they would interact with it more. I mean, there's been loads of studies that have shown that antisocial behaviour tends to happen where there is least visibility. So that's another reason why location is key. And yeah, that's what I've got so far.
Okay, thanks, Dave. Right, John?
Yeah, I just want to go back to the history of this because it really goes back to 2018 and 19 when we were getting complaints from our residents about the existing skate park. It was always flooded and it wasn't suitable for purpose. So we started to talk about it in the council in 2021. And in 2022, we went down to a public consultation. I just want to remind people about that we went to consultation, we had 150 responses to a local consultation, which is extremely good. Even the county council doesn't get figures like that sometimes. And of those 150, 124 were local residents. Some were people from outside the area, but just remind you, it's going to be used by people from all over Blythe, really. It's not just the Isabella. As 113 of those were in favour of the skate park. And of those, 97 of them actually put favourable comments on. Quite often people just tick the box to say yes or no, but a lot of people did make comments on that. A lot of people said yes, it would be good for the kids in the area. Now, normally, we would have had this built by now. This is 2022, we did the consultation. However, since then, we've been consulting with Northumberland County Council as well, because they're in favour of a skate park in Northumberland ever since the last Olympic Games, when there's more kids got interested in it. We've also got involved with Shred the North to look carefully at design of this. So it's mainly a flat area with some ramps, but we're not talking about 6-foot ramps, they're sort of gentlish ramps. So it's mainly for use of kids who've just got a skateboard, they want somewhere flat to try it out, rather than on the pavement or the road. Most of it's a flat area for new users. We also went out to tender for building. Now, most of the people who build skate parks are down in the south. There's very few I don't think there's any in Northumberland. And the original tender we got, we weren't very happy with the design of it. So we got Shred the North to look at it, come up with what they would like to see. They went back to the tendering company. Could you do this? Could you change that? Could you rearrange things to get it how we wanted it? So we spent a lot of time doing that. We've also investigated the lands owned by Northumberland County Council, so that's not an issue. Planning, as Malcolm was saying, that a lot of it's to do with lighting. Well, I mean, there is street lighting there. We've also got a CCTV camera, which you need permission for. And I just worry that if we start looking at another site now, you do run the risk of losing that funding, because we've already had an extension on it. And normally when 106 money, when the developers build so many houses, as money becomes available, it gets used. And quite often it's who puts the bid in first that gets the money. And there's also the issue as well with the wooded area, the pond and the red squirrels. Planning might, say, no, you can't. You just don't know you do that, in which case you've definitely lost the whole project. So we've spent a long time on the design of this, and I've been to meetings at Northumberland County Council as well. We're discussing skate parks in general. So this is activities for kids that we want to have in the area, giving them something to do. We've also been in touch with Links, which is a youth organisation who would put training exercises on for kids and run some sessions. And so I'm still happy to keep it where we plan to do it next to the play area. On the other side, I'm not convinced at all about the ground conditions there. Because anybody who lives there knows it floods quite often. Footballers can't play there. Apparently there has been some drainage put in, but not whether it's working or not, I'm not quite sure. And I would be a little bit concerned as well about cars. If people are driving there, they'll go down the back of West Court. I think a lot of people, and you can't get turned around, but that's a sort of main issue really. But I'm just going back to the consultation we did. 150 respondents, and most of them in favour. I think it's only 8 sort of said they didn't want it. So we're just listening to what people are saying, which is what people wanted in the first place anyway. So I would be in favour of just leaving it where we planned it, next to the play area.
Okay, I will mention something on behalf of the residents about consultation, because they did raise the issue that they haven't actually been consulted. Whether they missed the things or whether they just missed the door or whatever. But they felt quite strongly that there hadn't been any local consultation.
But we don't go around every house, every street. It's very local.
Yes, yes. Thanks, John. Barbara?
Well, I've looked at both sites. The Ingo Close site, the nearer the houses. This site is further away from the houses, which is better for the residents. And out of them 100 and odd people who don't know where they come from, they could come from Cookman Estate, they could come from Newsham, we don't know where they come from. So I'd rather it be on the Ranger site.
Yeah, just clarify that, because it's actually closer to housing.
It's not.
next to West Coast.
It's not, if you look at the distance, it's not.
Caitlin?
I've been going backwards and forwards on this. I do want to say thank you to John for giving that history of it, because I knew we'd been discussing this for a long time, and there's a lot of effort behind the scenes and with us that has gone into this. So thank you for everyone who has done the consultation and all the hard work into looking into it. I think obviously since we first started discussing this and that site, the original site being flooded, the cost obviously has also gone up, and we don't really want to risk losing that money that is to be contributed to it, because that just puts the cost up even further. And I think on that original site, if we did decide to go back onto that, we can't say whether the existing problems are just going to happen again, because it's flooded already, it's dangerous, that's why it was brought to council, and that's why we've been discussing it. If that's not rectified, and I know that you said that there is some effort that's gone into that, we could be spending all this money on it for it to just end up not being used again. And the whole point of it is that we really want something in the area for young people to be able to enjoy and have activities. I completely understand the concerns and obviously the discussion about the consultation, but that's why I'm in two minds about all of this. And I think it is a difficult decision to decide where we put it.
Daniel?
I really think, Chair, based on the consultation, which is, I think you're right, John, getting 150, did you say, plus was excellent. It is really good, but I still don't think we do consultations correctly. Based on the angst I saw online of people saying, I never got a form through my door, and we have no proof as a town council that people living in this area actually got one. And I still think that we need to get out on the doors to these people and knock and say, do you want this, yes or no? And that's to me the proper consultation. And until we do that, we can't say fully that the people in this area support either of these schemes.
Alan?
I'd like to come in on that, because I've looked back on everything since this has been going, because like John, I was a bit like, and like Caitlin, when did we start this? When did we look into this? So just to give some context, obviously it went out to consultation in June 2022. John and I then did a street surgery on the corner of Ogle Drive in July 22, just after the consultation. And I can recall speaking to at least 2 or 3 people who were from that immediate area who knew about the skate park. And one lady actually talked to us for quite some time, whose mum lived on Heppel Court and was very positive about finally Blythe is getting something that's really good for the kids. And she's probably the closest out of anybody. And I've looked at how many times it's been shared on social media. June 21, May 22, June 22, July 22, October 22, May 23. I know social media is not the be all and end all, but it was also shared in the press in May 23 in both the News Post Leader, the Northumberland Gazette. This consultation was left in the Isabella Centre, and so we did have, I think, I don't know, was it about 30 odd ones returned from the Isabella Centre? So in terms of consultation, at what point as a council, yes, we've got some reflection to do and there may be better ways in the future, but we've gone out to consultation for a number of play parks where we've only had a dozen, half a dozen, and we've still gone ahead with the play park. So at what point do you say that the consultation hasn't worked when, if say we'd consulted and if everybody had got the letters on Ingo Close and say they are maybe even the 7 people who would make the negative comments, overall that consultation is highly in favour and it has been shared so many different platforms. I believe it was also in our newsletter, which goes out to every door. So I feel that whilst we have to reflect and we have to look at how we do it in the future to make it as best we can be, and perhaps we failed on that. And I do totally acknowledge you know, a fear of antisocial behaviour, actual antisocial behaviour, it is horrendous, it is awful. But there's also, that's not the solution to not build a skate park somewhere, because you could then come up against the same number of people who have the same concerns in another location. At what point do you say, stop, we're actually building it now? And I think for the reasons that Dave said, the site that we've got is in a location which is well trafficked by pedestrians. It's next to a play park. So what we're saying is we're putting skate parks in a bracket of they're not acceptable, but we'll have a play park. It just doesn't, I really feel strongly now that I think we have done everything that we've needed to do, and we need to get ahead with this, because there's so many people who are in favour of it, and we haven't given those people the chance. I haven't knocked on the doors and said, for all those people who are in favour of it, come along tonight. So I do think we've done everything that we can.
Okay, Grant?
Yes, Chair, yourself and Susan are the neighbours of the biggest draw for children in the whole of Glyde. Without a doubt, we're the neighbours of McDonald's. And kids flock there all of the time in droves. It's because McDonald's can be viewed from Couple Road and be viewed for other users, you know, inside McDonald's. We don't get any antisocial behaviour. We get a bit of litter, but no antisocial behaviour. Now, the difference between these two sites here is vast when it comes to being viewed. The site that's up against the back of the Isabella Country Park cannot be viewed from the highway. People don't see it. You drive along, there's a pair of flats in front of it. There's the pavilion for the footballers beside. You can't see it. This will be in the full view of drivers and of other residents, etc. And young people will back off from antisocial behaviour here because they can be seen. And here it has a massive advantage of a CCTV camera looking over the Mugger and this site. You know, that is a tremendous advantage. And I haven't heard too many people say to me that the Mugger has caused major antisocial behaviour problems in this area. I think this is the site to go for. We're going to actually get it constructed, and because it can be seen and will be lit if we get planning permission for lighting, I don't think there'll be any antisocial behaviour there.
Thanks, Grant. Daniel?
I've never seen something discussed like this for children or so much comprehension, I don't think, in this council, Chair. I mean, if this was in my ward, I would, you know, I would be going out and making sure that every single person is being consulted door to door. And I want to be 100% certain that it's got the support, because I'm really still concerned, Chair, that the people who support it maybe are no longer here, or have moved on from Blythe, you know, or have changed their minds. We've done it every year, and like you said, since 2021. But maybe the opinions have changed. I would do it one for this year, 2024.
But when do you stop? Sorry, when do you stop?
I think that it is gonna, we could go round and round in circles here. I think we have had a huge amount come for the consultation, and like everyone said, we don't get that usually. It's really good to see that we've had that response and see the clip one for it. I do completely agree that if it was our ward, would maybe have done X, Y, Z different. It's absolutely fine that you can say that till the cows come home, you know, it's you all do different things for your wards. But Anna's laid out exactly how many times we have consulted on either paper, social media, verbally. I don't think there's much more that we could do except redoing the consultation, where some people, you probably get a low response because some people who filled it out the first time would think, why am I filling this out again? We've been talking about this for nearly 3 years, and at what point do we say give them what they want? So I think everyone's in different minds about it, but
Okay. Margaret, then Adrian?
I've got to say, Grant, there has been antisocial behaviour. The bush shelter was set afire. the bins have been taken out and thrown away. So there has been antisocial behaviour there.
Adrian?
I just wanted to back what John had said about the flooding. They have put drains in, but it still floods. And then they'll get cars pulling onto the grass, different areas, and then you're getting stuck and you're making a mess of the grass. And I just think, you know, it's a bad area to go.
All right. Jeff, Sandra, anything?
Just having lived through Broadway Gate with the play park there and the brew hall that came up from that. And it's just fizzled away. There's been no bother as far as I can remember. And I think there's always, I think that the fear of what's going to happen is sometimes worse than the actual event. So I fully agree with that. And John, there's not much else we could have done. And I would want to go ahead with it.
Yeah. Everybody? Anybody else? Any final comments? No?
That's it.
Well, I guess it's time to vote.
What choices, Chair? Just to confirm before vote.
Say again?
What choices before vote?
Well, the choices are, we go with the original proposed site on Ingo Close. Or we,
I'll move that. We go for what was originally planned, next to the play area.
I second it.
well, that's been moved and Sandra's seconded it.
Chair, can I put another proposal then? And we'll go back to the residents and confirm 100% that this is what they want. Has to be going up to every person, Chair, and then I'll support it once and everyone is happy with it.
That's an amendment, Daniel. Does anybody second the
Well,
amendment?
I'll
Second the board, of the motion.
I'll second the
Daniel's
motion.
The amendment.
I'll second the amendment.
So we've got a seconder for the amendment. So, sorry, if you can just put,
The amendment, Chair, was
Well, we're
to go
voting.
back to every single resident in that area and make sure that everyone is consulted and that everyone is happy. And if we get a majority of people say they're happy, then I'm happy to vote and support it.
Say that.
so can we vote on the,
Can I just ask you a question though?
On the amendment.
Can I ask a question? When you say, so you're just going to consult the people immediately around the streets, nobody in the rest of Blythe?
As a town council.
You're not going to do that? Just the immediate people who live there, and not for the residents who might use it, might have children in the next street along who might want to use it.
I think
You're not going to consult them at
I think
all?
the people in that ward area should be consulted
The whole ward?
But there have been.
every single year. But like I said, those people could have died, could have moved out of life.
So when do you draw a line? When do you then go, right, okay, this week, and then next week, and then the week after? So they have been consulted, and it was on one of my leaflets about the skate park. So in my ward, it will have had that. I don't know for Cooper Ward, I'm not the Cooper councillor, and the people who are making the complaints sit in the Cooper Ward.
Do you know, like I say, some people claim they haven't been given a consultation.
So people don't answer the doors, Daniel. People don't come back to you. At what point do you then say? Because it's been, sorry.
No, that's fine. Daniel, can you express your amendment again and we'll vote on that now?
My amendment is to say that everybody in the vicinity of that area is be consulted and like door knocked and confirmed that everyone in the household, based on a vote of how many people live in the household, maybe,
Right,
confirm that they're happy with it. And if we get a majority, then I'd be happy to bring this back and just say, yes, they're all happy with it, we'll vote for it.
all right, all those in favour of that amendment?
I would have to do that because of people.
that's three,
Three. All those against?
more than three?
Okay, so we go to the motion now.
Yes.
The motion that John made was, reminded John?
That we go for what we originally planned, to build it next to the multi-use games area.
Okay, all those in favour? Those against?
Majority in favour of the motion.
That's the majority, so that motion is passed. Right.
Chair, can I just ask a question, the timescales now, are the contractors ready to go?
Maybe, Dave, did you hear that question from councillor Hodge?
Timescales?
Yeah, so having spoke to the park suppliers, they said that they had penciled in towards mid to late June to have the park ready for the beginning of August. I can get specific dates, but that's roughly when they have penciled in. The idea was that it would land right in the height of summer to have maximum sort of footfall, and also to help us establish some programs, because obviously all the kids would be out of school, so we'll be able to get things up and running and try and set a precedent going forward on the park.
Yeah, good, thanks.
Okay. Thanks, Dave. Right. Alongside this, and I think everybody should have had some further notes on the change of use to the existing Isabella Skate Park ad on the site. I think you got it late, and you should have had it. And I'm going to raise this now because dependent on the decision that we've just made was whether or not I was going to raise this or not, but I will raise it now. The recommendations are that we consider, following the removal of the existing skate park equipment, the installation of senior mugger goalposts at an indicative cost of £6,820. So if you remember, we were talking about removing the existing skate park ramp, leaving the baits there, and putting a basketball post come goal in as an extra facility for kids on that site. Anna?
I'd just like to see if we could go to Blythe Rangers with some ideas for that site before we decide on this, because to me, what we've done on that area, and we know we're not there with the flooding, is we've brought football back to that area of the Isabella, which hadn't been there for a number of years. And I think Rangers have got plans that they would like to take forward on that field that they would like to develop.
Yeah.
And I think if they've got an option of, having discussions about what they could come up with, rather than it being just us deciding that we know that that would be used, because it's used very much at the park and Ridley Park, but I do think it would be good to go to Rangers.
Yeah.
That's
So are you thinking about the potential for a junior pitch, for example, or something else?
potentially for a junior pitch in the future, or if they had any ideas of, like, I think Daniel mentioned one time, of just some training posts, because I know one of the concerns with the football field, and I've learned now, is that they try and keep 15 metres either side, so that Jimmy has the option of spinning the goalpost round, so if the area gets too worn, he can spin that round and move the football field across. So I do think something like maybe there's a couple of training posts that kids can just have a kick about where it's not interfering on the site. So I do think it would be a good idea to go to Rangers and ask them.
Yes.
Here's a question on what was actually proposed here. It doesn't actually stay in the report, but are we just talking about one goalpost, not
Yeah.
a pair of goalposts?
Yes.
So you wouldn't be able to have a football game, it would just be four, just one.
It is just one, and I wondered about that because I wondered whether there was a need to mark out a 5v5 when you've only got
Yeah.
one goal, one post. Probably not.
Yeah, which is, it's not from playing football, is it? Think about it. So there's a basketball there as well, so it's just for messing about. Yeah, so.
Well, I think Anna's idea is.
Chair, I believe it's completely juxtaposed to the decision we've made on the actual skate park location. Because if you still won't be able to see this from the highway, and it could have people hanging around on the excuse of these nets being the basketball hoop being there. When round the corner, we've got a mugger with the same equipment in it.
Yeah.
Little goalposts and basketball. We may have had a couple of bins damaged in a bus shelter, but that happens to bus shelters all over the place, whether there's a mugger there or not. So I think that when people can see people, and this will be the bypass for Blythe. You remember this is the Cooper Road bypass we're talking about, Oval Drive. When people can see people and young people, they don't cause the bother, but then when they can be hidden away, when they're hidden away, that's when you get the bother.
But Chair, can I just support Anna's proposal that we consult the Rangers Football Club to see if they've got any ideas and, probably Jimmy Reese on eyes of pictures and things, but yeah.
Aileen?
Can I also ask if that's the case that the Interact group and the Rota Kids are involved as well? And the young members of the Isabella Volunteers Group?
Listen, I'll agree with Anna, but as long as they know they've got away that well, it's because the drainage isn't that good.
Any other comments, anybody? So, a motion is we go to Blythe Rangers and discuss potential
Well, that's nice.
actions for that site.
Plus the others.
And the other groups?
Oh, yes.
And the other group, sorry, the other group, yeah. All those in favour of that?
Aileen will make sure she gives you a list.
Oh, yes.
Okay, well, that's carried. Thank you. Right. Any other business? There isn't any?
There is.
Oh, yes.
I beg your pardon, there is.
Social media protocol.
Social media one.
Yeah.
Let's not use, yeah. I beg your pardon, social media protocol. Right, again, it's a report that you did, Joe, would you want to summarise it?
Yeah, this happened, because of a, posting we,
We agreed this last week.
Yeah,
Pardon?
we've definitely discussed this before.
Last week, which committee?
which meeting was that?
When we have a special environment.
Wouldn't have gone to a special.
Well, we definitely discussed it at that
Agreed
meeting.
this already.
Okay, we're discussing it.
It's fine, we're happy to agree.
Yeah. It's like Groundhog Day. Mr. Mayor, what happened was that we posted something in relation to Christmas greetings, which caused a bit of furore on a Friday evening. And I got communication from, I think, some members, or Julie did. Julie contacted me and I took the decision to take it down. We've learned from that particular occasion and we'll develop this protocol that we, how we deal with things. I mean, things are not just put on there, actually agreed beforehand, as you can imagine. But we think doing it earlier in the week might be a better time rather than on a Friday when we can have some Facebook warriors in terms of, you know, making comments. That's it really. So,
Okay. Anybody want to comment, or you've already commented last week?
I've just looked back at the agenda for last week and I think we might be going mad. Maybe we discussed it, but outside of the meeting, so apologies, but we definitely discussed it.
Definitely
But
discussed it.
I think what we said last week was that it's definitely needed. It's not fair that there's comments made by people on a late Friday night and staff having to get involved with it.
It's a decision, so it needs a motion, so I'd like to move the motion, which is the last two lines on the paper before the mayor, Josephine, that in conjunction with the mayor, the clerk can make the decision to remove posted or.
Okay, that's a motion.
I'll second it.
Thank you. All those in favour?
Right.
Yeah. Okay, that's passed. Thank you. Right. Now on to any other business, and there isn't any. The date of the next meeting is the full council, which will be Thursday, the 9th of May. There are no part two items. Thank you for coming, and especially thanks to the public. I know it's not what you wanted to hear, but it's a democratic decision, I guess. So, no. Thanks, Paul.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank you, Dave. Yeah. All these are
Okay.
It's,